Good morning. Can you guys hear us? Good morning. Good morning. If you didn't hear that, I am so sorry. So sorry. We couldn't hear that. That was good too, wasn't it?
Yeah, Keela said she can't hear it.
I know. I must not have had things on like I should have. I thought I did, but I didn't. Well, do you want to play it again?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to play it again?
Yeah, play it again.
Let's see. Let me find. I have to find it. I have to find it. Oh my gosh. Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can. Yeah, there it is.
A lot of people don't know this, but the best way to
now
make
hold
money
on,
with
you
Amazon
guys.
in
Hold
2021
on.
is not.
Hold on. I'm gonna play something for you, and I have to.
Spirit lead me where my trust is without balance.
Trying to get it right for you.
Work upon the waters, wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior.
Let me know if you can hear that.
Wherever you would call me, take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And yeah, I found you in the mystery, and oceans deep. My faith will stand. Oh, your ways are bound to deepest waters. Sovereign hand will be my light. When it's made all our fears around, you never fail, and you won't stop now. Spirit lead me where my trust is without bottoms. Let me walk upon the waters, wherever you will call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit leads me, Spirit leads me, Spirit lead me. Take me deeper, take me deeper, take me deeper into you.
Okay, I wanted you guys to hear that this morning. It just blesses me to hear that, and hear that little boy and his dad singing, and the words that they say, "Take me deeper, Spirit lead me." Yes, it was. That was beautiful, wasn't it, Judy? Just beautiful, beautiful. And so I wanted you guys to hear that, and I'm glad I got it straight so that you could I feel that. I feel that this morning. I feel that this morning. Okay, let's do quick affirmation. I want to acknowledge you guys, first of all. I see Judy and Charles Blue. I'm glad you're here. Gerald, I'm glad you're here this morning.
Good to have you with us.
Keely, CJ, I am so glad to see you. Joe and Phyllis and Edward, I'm glad to have you with us today. Dee Dee and George, I hope George is with you. He may be working. Leslie, hey, sweetheart.
Good to
Been
see
thinking
you,
about you
Leslie.
this week.
Yeah.
Been thinking about you this. Hey, John, I'm glad you're here. Jill, and Connie is here. And brother-in-law and Sissy are here. And hey, Vern, hope Johnny's doing better. Yeah, we're just glad to have you guys with us this morning. And Marlon, hey, Marlon, you came in. We hadn't seen you in a while. I'm so glad to have you. And Janie, oh my God, Janie. We've been missing you, huh? We've been missing you. And Phyllis, I'm glad you're with us this morning. Okie dokie. Let's do you have something you want to say?
No, I did, but go ahead. Go ahead, I'll wait.
You're gonna wait, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. If it's something important, I'll let you go ahead and we'll do this in a little bit.
Okay.
You can jump in your lesson.
Yeah.
No. Let me do this first then. Okay. I want you to center in. If you haven't already, please center in and repeat after me. Take a deep breath and release it and let all urges go. All preferences and concerns, if you can, let them go. Even the desire to wake up, desire to be free, let that go. And repeat after me. I stand in the rain of your love without covering. I experience freedom from having to do anything to be accepted. I fix my gaze on you, the one who is the light brighter than the sun. I behold your gaze as I become the light that I behold. I face you without pretense. I see through all illusions. I worship you without reservation and make my way into vulnerability. I find rest within your open arms. I accept what is without complaint. And I am given the grace and strength to endure. As I let go of all that I fear to lose, I am blessed abundantly. I receive others without judgment. And in turn, I receive mercy. I spend this time with you without expectation. I experience your presence within my own being. I open my heart without self-defense or preservation. And I am filled with all that you are. I lose sight of all that I think I am. And I disappear at your appearing. Amen and amen. All right. All right. All right. Now are you ready? Now he's writing.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. We are each other's eternal self.
Yes.
A man or woman, anybody on this planet, who do not have to, by the church rule, even by the book. You don't have to be born again. You don't have to be saved. You don't have to be able to read your Bible. You don't have to remember any verse or get a witness from reading the scriptures.
Yeah.
All of us are inside of each other's eternal self. Now watch this. I know that most of us read the Bible or read the course and any other book that you want. Of course, some don't read anything, but that's okay. It ain't gonna change anything. I want to say this to you over and over again because this is the key. There's one key that unlocks every door in the Bible and the course.
In any book.
Any book, in any situation.
Any sacred script. Yeah.
You don't have to walk the floor no more or anymore trying to get God's attention. It's been sealed and stamped in every last one of us, whether we know God, know Jesus, know anything about the cross. We are all eternal selves.
Yes.
No, not any one of us can escape what I'm saying. If you do, it is an indication that you are in another mind. I was going to say another word, but I'm going to say in another mind.
Okay.
When you let this mind expand through you that was expanded in Jesus, or any of the sages that have expanded their consciousness, when you see this, it's going to change your way of looking at people. It's going to change your whole life, because what I'm saying to you as the eternal self will unlock any promises, any translation, interpretation, any near-death experience, out-of-body travel, you name it. This will solve the problem. Yeah. But the other thing that will come up when you start seeing like this, you'll have to find out how, you'll have to learn, or whatever you want to call it, I just said easiest way, how not to resist those who believe the opposite of what I said. They don't have to agree with you. They don't have to agree with the Bible. There's some people right now will say the Bible was translated so many times by so many men. We don't have the original canon in our possession. The King James Version, the New English Standard Version, whatever you want to call it.
What we have in any sacred text is an infiltration of that person that actually have translated or channeled it. There is pieces of that person still.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that it's colored and filtered through that. So while we can take any sacred text and use its principles to live by, we cannot take any literally and say it is absolute.
Every being that volunteered to come into this dream or come into this story world, this earth planet, my investigation into it is that this is one of the hardest dimensional places for any spirit being to take on a physical body.
This earth school,
and pass it.
Yes, it's a difficult test.
It is determined.
Difficult
and
test.
those of us that are here all over the universe, all over the world, just the planet, all of them, all of us, by the millions on this planet, decided one time when they were in the spirit world, they decided to come over here, or to not leave heaven but be over here in this dream world. And
Mm, mm.
you are considered by many of them in the light world to be martyrs and
Mhm.
courageous.
Very courageous to
Just-
be in this
But to be
dimension.
in this dimension.
Mhm.
Now, I found out that there's other dimensions by the thousands,
Well, probably more than that.
more than that. Yeah,
Mhm.
that there are, like we always say, when is somebody living on the moon? Yeah, but they're invisible world, and that's another dimension. I can tell you that when this thing struck me, that the morning that I saw Jesus 50 years ago, I did not know in person when I saw him that he would be in everybody with or without consent of the church
True.
and the bylaws and the rule. Now I know that some people that where I was receive my honorary degrees from, I know that they will take the Bible and they will pound you over the head with it and burden you with it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But Jesus Christ himself is that living word that he said he was
Mm.
in the book and in the course. Of course, you're going to have a problem with your mind in receiving this. Of course, you will.
Oh, yeah.
Some people said, I got the course and it opened me up. Some people say, I read the Bible. It doesn't make any
Open me
difference.
up, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make any difference. It's what your ego mind decided to choose as a docking port to explain or to say the statement, I like this one better than the other one. That's okay. It's like reading the Living Bible or the New Testament translation and all that.
Mhm.
Let's get out of
Those
that.
are preferences.
Their preferences.
Mhm.
But who you are and have always been. I never thought that God was in my life or is the life of everybody on this planet with or without your chronological consent.
And you say that, I have to say this. You say that in the midst of suffering
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and in the midst of frustration, in the midst of hopelessness sometimes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in the midst of fear.
Mm-hmm.
All of that
Mm-hmm.
is spoken right in the middle of all of that
Mm-hmm.
being experienced here.
We are the same high self in each body over the universe. If the person is a drunk, if he is hooked on drugs, right now, I can say to you that everybody in the hospital right now, eternal self, God, is in that bed.
Yes.
Now, he said it in the Bible. I was sick and you visit me not. He
Yeah.
that have done it to the least of them has done it unto me. And when he said unto me, he's not talking about you getting saved and confessing salvation and confessing that he was Christ that died on the cross and everything that we could ever teach. He's just blunt that come out in the book. And then, you know what? With what I know, I wouldn't have to read anything else because that thing struck me.
Mm.
My uncle was eternal.
Mm-hmm.
My illiterate aunt.
And even though you classified him as mean,
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of love that came through him.
And I found out that when we get to see this,
Mm-hmm.
it don't mean that we don't see the opposite.
Right.
But when you get really clear, I'm talking about clearing up the static on the line.
Mm-hmm.
In Pittsburgh, I had a chance to go there. My wife and I went there for our honeymoon after we got married.
Mm-hmm.
And
A couple of years after we got married.
I heard a vehicle coming down the street when we at the motel and we was out, and it was a street car.
Yeah, trolley.
A trolley, and it run like buses. It runs a certain route.
Mm-hmm.
And in Pittsburgh, I heard this for the first time. I saw it, and I noticed that over the top of it, there was a rod, and it made contact with electrical wire
Mm-hmm.
that run over top of the streetcar.
It could not go unless it made contact.
If that rod or that wheel that was on that electrical wire was to drop and it would lose contact, it would mean that that streetcar has backslid, or it refuses
or that it could no longer ever
being
go.
that's right, that it was no longer existing, that it was evil.
It didn't really change the trolley car at all.
Actually, that rod that touched the wire was called attention awareness.
Okay.
Now, just because I live, like you heard me say, I live in a shotgun house. I was raised in that house, in that place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
For 22 years, I was in that place. Now, watch this. I've seen and heard some of the most amazing discussions around the bootleg table about God and Paul and the Bible.
Wow.
But I thought that these people who were in my house, I mean, the kitchen would be full. I thought that these people didn't know Jesus until I found out who was standing around the table and who was drinking.
Or you can say it this way, not that they didn't know Jesus, but that they were not connected. They were connected and not even know it.
Anybody that come into this world, I have run across people who remain connected to a degree coming over here, and they can tell you that some of the things that we're teaching, they already knew it.
Yeah.
Before
nobody had to tell them.
Nobody had to teach them.
Yes.
They just there's a certain part of the blind side of the thinking and the seeing that's blocked off.
Yeah. So what is it that you know that nobody taught you?
Now.
That nobody taught you. What is it that you know? Absolutely know. That is true. That nobody taught you.
Nobody? Mm-hmm.
It arose from some intuitive place inside of you. And I think that's why a lot of us are drawn to sacred texts, because somehow or another that text says part of what we know already.
The stuff that we're talking about in these classes, if half of the people, or the percentage-wise in religion and church, hear what I'm saying, they would blackball us and send us to hell.
Some would.
Yeah, I didn't say all of them. I said some of them would.
Some would, yeah.
And I'm just talking about that some would.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
But then there's others out there who hear it, wouldn't say anything in your face, but they might sit behind your back. Then there's a class of them that just don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
Here's my point. If all these people that do not believe in Jesus Christ or believe in the course or anything you want to call religion or truth, if they did not believe that, that would not excommunicate them out of being an eternal being.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm taking this ABC because I want you guys to hear that if you go this path, this pathless path, this walkless walking, this movingless moving, this knowledge that you are, and what we're talking about, it does not come from studying a book.
It doesn't.
It does not come from hearing a preacher preach this. No, the Bible said, how can you hear without a preaching? How can you preach unless you be sent? If you're going to lock your mind into that prison, yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Because what you're saying, locking your mind into that prison, if any sacred text, and I'm not going to call out any particular one, but any sacred text that you draw allegiance or you give your allegiance to confines you like a prison, because you won't be able to see anything past that.
When I was sitting in that rest home doing some paperwork with my wife, with her mother, I found out through revelation and insight, without reading anything, even though it was used, that Jesus Christ, the Christ eternal self, was inside of everybody's body in the rest home.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I saw it.
The staff and
Everything.
the clients. Yes.
Lord
And the
have mercy.
visitors.
The real self, the real God self, as all of us, is considered in that area a holy self,
Yes, sir. Yes,
a
sir.
completely made
Yes,
whole
sir.
self.
Yes.
It is no way possible for you to physically die and continue to exist outside your body except you be eternal.
Mhm.
Lord have mercy.
Mhm. And there's no way that many of us could go through the challenges that we face in this earth existence if we were not immortal and eternal.
I also found out in this eternal self that we carry every name
Yes, we do.
that's been named, even from Jesus, Peter, James, and John. And you can go to, if you get a list of all the names in the universe,
Yes.
you
Carry every name.
carry every last one of them
And
in your bosom.
and
of spirit.
that's happening because throughout every generation, from one generation to the next, we were the essence carried that traveled down through every one of those generations that landed in this generation. The same essence.
That's right. I
Because
like that word essence.
because that essence is immortal and eternal and continues even when bodies die.
God is the eternal essence.
Yes. Oh, you made me remember something. I heard a lady ask a spiritual teacher this. She said, sometimes I experience bliss and sometimes I experience peace. And then other times it's like my mind is just constantly going and I'm feeling all these negative feelings. And so she said, is it wrong to want the bliss? And the teacher said to her, the bliss is the true self.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that the person that you think you are can have bliss, can experience bliss.
Mm-hmm.
The bliss that's being experienced is who you are.
It's you.
That is who you are.
I heard a guy say in a near-death experience, I saw myself leave my body.
Mm-hmm.
I saw myself up in the ceiling looking down at the doctors working on my body. I asked the question, if you want to find the real self, how would you do it? Okay. First of all, I didn't pay attention to it. I heard it now, and I steeled myself and I saw it.
Yes.
That part of him that saw himself, his body on the table, and heard what the doctors were saying and watching the surgery going on, that was the real essence.
Yes, it was the essence. The part that saw him leave his body was essence.
Yeah.
So essence was not leaving or coming.
That's right.
It was already there. It just is. And so we have all of these multiple, what's the word I want to say? All of these different ways of seeing. It's like have split consciousness, ways of seeing. We can see the body, we can see that leaves the body, we can be the one that's seeing all of it leaving. So we are so multidimensional.
This is the definition, like you guys got out there, of I am.
Marlon says, I am every woman, I am every man, I am. Yes, I am.
Now, the connection has never been broken, except from the standpoint of attention.
That's the only thing that moves is the attention. Yes.
Now, in 15th chapter, Jesus made the statement, and if this is true, don't have any problem with it. Let me stop and say this. If the Bible is true or not,
it doesn't matter.
It does not matter. And I wish we would leave that matter alone. Matter, anything that has weight and occupies space. matter,
Yes. Yes.
substance, solid.
Yes.
I want you guys to expand your awareness into the spiritual, the spirit part. When I say spiritual, I don't mean make believe. I mean to the real self. Okay, here's what he said. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth fruit, beareth not fruit, is taken away, and every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. In other words, this is what's going to happen. There are some people haven't been purged enough to the point that they can see who their real self is. There are some people that are locked into the prison of the mind that won't see it until it's said like this. Some people don't see who they are for the sake of others, to be used as an instrument to bring others before they wake up, bring others into the awareness. And there's a possibility that the one that's sitting in front of you that have not awakened could be waking up somebody in front of him, and he still not be awake.
So other people can be a portal for me to advance spiritually. It can be they could be an instrument of death to the ego.
There you
go. They can be our teacher of whatever it is that we haven't seen, and they will teach us by the role they play. So other people they may not exhibit what we call an awakened state. They may play a role of a negative for us, because it's all about all of us waking up. And even though we've had the initial awakening, there are so many facets of ego that's still being undone, even after that initial awakening.
Okay, here's a metaphor. A bottle of sanitizer can be sitting on a counter, or a bottle of Clorox could be sitting there. You can look at that bottle. It could be half full, half empty, or completely removed. But what was in that bottle when you throw the bottle away may be in another place, but it has not ceased to exist. The bottle that is carrying the pine sol or the Clorox is just a container that gives the shape.
And it still carries the residual of that was
the value.
In it. Yes.
Each time the awareness slips back into the sleeping state, it is called the Great Fall.
Yes. 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 That's what the fall is. That's what the fall
It's awareness
is.
and attention. Now, somebody say, well, show me how I can get over there and never lose attention.
Do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the first thing is to find out what we're talking about now, is to see what we're talking about now. Now you recognize, what is this that's now recognizing that separation is only in the bottle that contains the stuff, the pine sol. Yes. But you're finding out now, that's why the question came up. What can I do? That's nothing to do but see and become aware of. Yeah. Go back to that. Now, there is a place in this as you begin to become greater depthness of awareness. You're going to find out that you're not easily distracted from your pure self as you used to be.
And if you are, you swing back like a pendulum quickly.
Right quick. It's like you're on the highway driving the car, you go on the other side of the yellow line, you back over.
So you may notice the ego. You may notice a judgment. You may notice some negative feelings coming up, some fear, some anger, all of that. But then the pendulum will swing back quickly, and you will move away from it. You move away from it. It doesn't move away from you.
Go ahead.
I want to show what Judy says. She says, yes, Jesus lives in all of us without exception. So in our oneness, not only Jesus, but the spirit of everyone throughout eternity also exists within us. That includes everyone. Hitler.
Thank you.
And
That's exactly what we're
everyone.
saying. Miss Judy, that is exactly it. It's so easy. But here's the drastic
But
part.
the mind says, no, that can't be. But have you ever had a murderous thought? That's Hitler.
That is it.
Have you ever had a murderous thought?
I can stand in front of that pine soil or that Clorox, pour dirt on top of it, kick it, bust it hit it against the wall, and do anything I want to do with it. It still remains pure in the bottle.
It does.
I can cuss it out. Now, if I go and shoot it or make a hole in it, or watch this, that pine soil is going to leak out.
Yes.
Now, here's my point.
We're not endorsing pine sol.
No, we're not. I'm just
giving
you as an example. Let me tell you something now. If you punch a hole in that bottle, it's going to leak out. Do you know what we call trials and disappointment are used?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's like Mary Magdalene taking that ointment, breaking it open, and the fragrance
from
of
the
it
alabaster
box, and using it. Watch it. Somewhere in this path, God the Father is going to do what he said in the 15th chapter of John. He will punch a hole in it or purge it. Life will automatically bring a hairline fracture somewhere or another, a leak if it's not anything, but the cap not being on it tight.
When you shake it, it goes.
God is shaking everybody in the universe, and this world is going through a metamorphosis, a change.
Yes, it is.
For the good
it is.
Of all spirit beings to break through.
Yes.
And
it doesn't appear to be.
Excuse me, y'all, please.
Doesn't appear to be for the good, but it is for the good.
What you talking about? I had to put that little gibberish in there because that's the way
you got to pop.
I'm popping all over everything. And I'm telling you.
Yes.
You cannot leave God just because your attention is somewhere else. How can you get by someone that's infinite, eternal, omnipotent, and omniscient all over the world? You can't get away from him just because your attention is on cussing, dipping, and chewing, and smoking, and hanging around everybody else to do. Them guys that are every movie star that plays a part, I'm telling you, you just can't upset your eternal connection. It may mean that if you stay where you are, you may go to a different house or different place. Them guys used to come to my house when I was little and drink moonshine. My house wasn't the only house that they knew moonshine was in.
Definitely
they went to different other places. Everybody around town they would come into my house, front door, back door.
They probably made rounds.
They did. Some of them didn't get no further than my house because they were sitting up in the corner drunk.
Right.
Hear this. This is a soothing, healing word we're presenting to you.
Yeah.
This thing is so.
And I want to say this too, that many times before we get on these live streams, we have our own struggles.
Lord have mercy.
Our own personal struggles, the same as you do. And we have to bring our attention back. And sometimes coming to you guys on the live stream brings us back.
Yeah, that's true. You're helping us. That's right.
It does. It really, really does. It forces us to leave our minds.
Okay.
Yes.
Listen to this. We carry within our super self the names and the memories of every one of our eternal selves at once. we carry the name, the memory, the events of Jesus Christ in the garden.
Yes, we do.
And everything. Galatians 2:20 said,
Mhm.
not only do you carry it, you
Mhm.
are a participator.
Mm. How about a participant?
A participant.
You are a participator.
Participate the pie. A participant.
We can be a participator if we want to be.
A
Right?
tater. You're just a tater. It's a tater.
Thank you, Laura. She said you help all of us. Thank you. You help us too, honey bun.
Thank
You
you
do.
so
You
much.
really,
Thank
really
you.
do. You don't realize you do, but you do. Sean said this. She said it's been helpful to share your spiritual experiences because it makes these experiences feel normal
Mhm.
rather than putting the experience on the shelf because we don't understand. I like that, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, honey.
If it's on the shelf, it still cannot remove you from being eternal. Take it off the shelf.
Yeah.
In the book, it said, every branch in me that birth not fruit is he taketh away.
Mhm.
What God is doing on a non-voluntary basis, he is the cleansing agent
Yeah.
of the Texas
Yeah.
and the Clorox. Born in sin and shaped in iniquity from the mother's womb. Go ahead, babe.
When he purges, it's taking away everything that's not alive, everything that's not life, everything that's dead.
He's showing you everything that you are not.
Yes, everything that you're not is being taken away. But what's left is everything that you are.
Boy, it's always been there.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah.
Ebahasa.
Yes.
Everything that God was before you woke up and everything that God was after you woke up has not changed.
Has not changed.
Woo! I feel that, God. I know. Mhm.
So Keely asked this question. Hey Keely, she said, did we all know what we would experience in life when we signed the contract?
Yes and no. If you go to the depthness of your infinite identity, you
Yes.
knew it because you were the one that set it up.
Yes.
In other words, like in your infinite identity as essence, whatever God did, you did it. Don't care in the space of time and dimension. It doesn't make any difference.
Because it was the essence of God
It was the
that
essence,
did it.
It's the essence of God.
That did it.
Now listen.
But
Keely,
we quickly forget it when we come into
Keely,
this
do you know
dimension.
when we sat yesterday at the restaurant?
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. Do you know when I got up and went to that little boy and gave him what I gave him, he was absolutely a Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And his grandmother.
Christ gave it and Christ received it.
And before we left, I walked into him, he walked to me. He said, thank you so much. What did I say to him? I said, I want you to receive it. I said, somebody wants to give you this money as an early Christmas present. And I said, I want you to have one of the most amazing, phenomenal experiences of Christmas this year. And his grandmother was sitting there. You see, sweetheart.
Oh, by the way, I got an early Christmas present yesterday from my sister and my brother-in-law. They brought me a coffee maker that I had been looking at, and I enjoyed it. I had my cup of coffee this morning from it. It was so nice.
Now, the contract that we signed in one dimension of heaven or the spirit world was somewhat in the form of paper like we do here, but the spirit. But there's another side of us in the higher dimensions where we experience ourselves as being the signed event.
That's it.
We are the signature.
We are the signature.
You can put your name on paper. But if you don't put your name on the paper in the dotted line, you are still the signature.
I remember when you talked about the experience you had of going to heaven and seeing Jesus slide the contract
Yeah.
to you
Yeah.
across the
Yeah.
table,
It's real.
and it when it got to you, you saw where you were supposed to sign it, and the Holy Spirit came apart from you. I don't remember all the details, but came apart from you and stamped it and signed it for you, and told you you would not have to be fulfilling it.
Yeah, I saw that.
That Spirit will fulfill it.
You are eternal within. Watch this. And you are also eternal without any approval from your feelings.
Yes. You don't need the approval of your feelings. Oh my God.
You
That's
are
good.
eternal with or without the knowledge of salvation.
So I don't need the approval of my feelings to be that. That was good. That was really good. I got that.
You are eternal without seeing this. You are eternal without hearing this. You are a daughter and son of man and woman of God with or without ears, mouth, nose. They say, how can you hear without a preacher? How can you preach unless it's been sent? You are eternal with or without a preacher.
And you are that even before everything lines up the way you want it to line up.
Come on. Let's take it. Take you some of this medicine.
You're that even when your body's sick. You're that even when your mind's going crazy. You are that when you're scared as hell.
That's right. That's right. Notice, you are what God is.
I think we're both popping now.
At this present moment.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And there is no other moment like this.
Yes.
This present moment will not give itself away to the future, the past, but only to the present. Yes. You are right now the present manifestation in God and outside of God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Of eternal essence. My God Almighty. Whoa, my God.
Ooh, that's good. Yes, good.
You can talk for it, talk against it. You can. I saw a man standing in front of the First Presbyterian Church that was talking this stuff. So much seeing. He cussed God out.
Oh, when we were in Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh, yeah.
Yes, yes.
I've seen a man, we were holding service at one time in a funeral home, and the pastor let me speak. I saw a man in a funeral home holding this stuff, and the man came up drunk. I saw God sober him up.
Yes, we did.
I saw my true self sober him up.
Yes. Yes, we saw a man in Pittsburgh who didn't know anything about Jesus or God come past the church because there were so many people. He was intrigued by the fact there were so many people. So he came in, he got healed and walked away.
Who is this that says he or she don't know God until they accept Jesus Christ? You better go further than that. You need to go play in traffic.
No, they don't.
Yes, you do.
No,
Because let me tell you something. I don't care
we don't
how.
Want them to play in traffic.
If that's what it's going to take to knock the hell out of him and knock him into the awareness.
Well, okay.
Let me tell you something.
Hello, Oliver. Yes, it's essence. It is definitely
essence. You're not going to get around this eternal self in heaven or hell. You ain't going to get around it. And you might as well go out in the woods and find you a fresh pig.
I knew you were going to say that. Now, let me read a comment before you go that direction.
Okay, go ahead.
Judy says, I've heard the purpose of contracts are our soul's plan to bring us home, to give us the experiences necessary to aid in our awakening. She said, can you speak to that?
Okay. Our contracts are ourselves, the eternal self. But there is a place in the dimension where I just heard a person talk about near-death experiences, and because my own personal experience, I've been to the archives, the council and the archives, and the universal library.
Yes.
And I had a chance to see a place where all these contracts were. But there is a dimension that is beyond the contract. That's God. Now, a lot of people that have their near-death experiences, they're not going directly to heaven. They're going to a parallel universe and
different astral
different
planes.
astral planes,
Mhm.
and they really, just in that little bit think they're in heaven
Yes,
completely.
yes. But
The fullness of heaven is complete awareness of the Father.
yes, I was about to say that
Mhm.
there was one particular near-deather that I heard, Nancy Dennison,
Yeah.
who mentioned, and I'm sure there are others, but she mentioned that she was given the opportunity to play in all of these different
Mhm,
astral
mhm,
planes
Mhm.
prior to her going
Mhm.
all the way into God Unmanifest, where there were no forms.
Mhm.
Where she had no form, God had no form. There were no forms, no objects, and she was given the opportunity to play around. She said even to explore into other people's consciousness and all of that, and to take on different shapes. She was allowed to do that, but that was not the destination.
Right. The contract that Jesus walked under, that we were inside of. See, I'm going to expand on this a little bit, because
Okay.
he said Jesus came to do the work of the Father,
Mhm.
and as a Savior give his life for the ransom of many. Do you know our essence was speaking that and doing that at the same time the statement was being made?
Still our mission.
And it's still our mission, and it's still that contract.
Mhm.
See, some contracts in the spirit world
So
are
is
on.
it the same contract?
It's the
'Cause
same.
there is only
It's the
one-
same contract for everybody.
Because there's only one son.
That's right.
Yes.
And we are that one son, one
Yes.
daughter. What are you going to
Yes.
call it? Okay. The experience of the contract, yes, it may have something to do with the color and light of the soul,
Mhm.
but the key behind the contract is essence.
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
hey,
It's like the
I'm
soul
gonna call you Baby Hill, Baby Judy.
And the soul is the medium
Mhm,
between that essence that we are and this body.
Now, there are some people go there, or let's stop going there. Let's just stop going anywhere. Let's just stop going anywhere. Let's just take it right now.
Okay.
The contracts that we are talking about now, watch this. Jesus did not walk around the earth with a notepad in his hand, taking notes and a recall book
Yes,
to
sir.
remind them of the contract.
Yes.
You are it.
So I want to say this, and I had written this on my notes, and I'm glad you mentioned it just
I
now.
say it like this: you are a duck. A duck is a duck, whether in water or out of water.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Well, you made me think of something my sister said yesterday. She said, back when we had the election, the last election, she said she would have voted for Daffy Duck if he'd been running to remove the one we had. But anyway, anyway, you cannot live fully trying to remember who you are.
Okay.
The trying becomes suffering.
Now, listen to this, what he said. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Now, wait, hold it right there. Hold your bloomers and your underwear and your pantyhose. Okay? Loosen up on your bra strap.
Oh, God.
Okay? Because I want you to understand that this word that he's talking about, they were clean through, is the same essence.
Yes, it is.
See, in essence, you are perfected.
Yes, sir.
You are perfection.
Yes.
I used to hear this old saying around the moonshine table: ain't none perfect, ain't no perfect man on earth. If you're gonna go man-wise, you're gonna go man, humanity. Oh, where? But in another way, you have to understand, even this man part,
yes,
is a genius, but it just can't stand in the class of essence of eternalness, because anything that decays and turns to the dirt is not eternal. But at the same time,
you said this on Thursday during our impromptu with Pastor Norman. He just said goodbye because he has to go for his life. But you said this, that the earth will claim what belongs to it.
Yep. Yeah.
And so this body coming from the earth, it will go back to that. It will go back to that. But we are more than that was made from this earth. So that this that we talk about is to remind you, we're just alarm clock. That's all we are.
And I like what you said, Miss Judy. It aids. It is a necessary experience for us to aid that part of us that seems to be walking in darkness or blindness.
And I'm glad you said that, because sometimes as an independent self that we feel ourselves to be,
and that's slipping into the fall. Go ahead.
We need someone to actually offer up or administer prayers to break the networking that's in the mind that causes people to be confined to their own personal sense of self.
Do you know that every being on the earth in their true essence is clean?
Everyone.
But in order for you to see this, you got to put your attention there. But now some people can't put their attention in their source of a essence, is because their awareness has been trained by religion, and from no insight at all about their true self is locked into that place. You say something to them about what we talking now, they think you done lost your mind.
That's true.
And it would be good if you did lose it.
Because they're like the fruit on the tree that hasn't ripened yet.
But this word that he said that we are cleansed by, baby, look, I got a Bible right here in front of me. I got the courses in there all over the house. And none of them is cleaning me, whether I read it or study on. Do you know there are some people that feel like every morning they have to have a Bible study time, and ain't nothing wrong with it.
You're not saying
I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying they think that they are gonna go good or bad if they don't read and study their Bible and read it from Genesis to Revelation. He's talking here about himself being your eternal essence that causes everything. Do you know the cleaning agent of your textile and your alcohol and your Clorox is your essence? It's the eternal cleansing department. Oh, yes. You know what he said to me one time? He said, my inner self said, inner me said, there's going to come a time when thousands of people in motel rooms are going to drop dead. I said, what? I said, yeah, talk a little more. Let me see who this is. And he said, they will be in the bed with somebody else's wife. They will be in a motel even by themselves because they got angry at their wife and left home and went to a motel. But he said, thousands of people are going to die right in the motel. And I said, what do you mean? He said, just like I came into the moonshine house and revealed to your separated awareness that I was there all the time. He said, these people in these rooms are going to wake up by the grace of God to their true identity. And one or two things are going to take place. They're going to physically drop dead, or they're going to drop dead in the ideal of themselves. And they interpretation of who they are. And God will be appearing to them in that motel. Somebody
as themselves.
They'll walk away from their false identity. Do you know all over the universe now, all over the world, there are atheists and people who would have nothing to do with Jesus, have nothing to do with the course. Hey,
let me
and
do some of these.
And they waking up.
Our time is winding up. Oliver says, likewise, that which is of God, spirit, will remain as it is.
It is. That's right.
Judy says, thank you, Judy. She said, this has been and is a great day in the morning. Sean said this, there are times when I don't want to hear any spiritual information.
That's right.
And I'm okay with it. And what you have to know, Sean, is this: you should be okay with it, but you should also know that doesn't want to hear it is not you.
That's right.
It's your mind. It's your conditioning.
The distracted
that doesn't want to hear it. The egoic identity that doesn't want to have anything else to do with being undone.
Hey, y'all, this is Grown Folks Talk.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I put up there on the screen how to give, and thank you so much, you guys who have been giving to Cornerstone, your offerings and your tithes. That has been very beneficial. We've got some subscriptions we've got to come up with to pay for this upcoming year to continue to do our live streams, and that's going to cost us money. So thank you for giving to Cornerstone. And if you need to do that, you can text CLC Greensboro to 73256, or you can use the paypal.me/cornerstone35. And if you don't have the means to do that, just mail it in to P.O. Box 36259, Greensboro, North Carolina 27416. And by the way, you can use that address if you want to send something to Pastor and I as well.
please
Laverne
do.
will make sure we get it.
We really need your assistance.
For those of you who don't want to use, for
Go
those of you who don't want to use Cash App, you can send it in by mail to that P.O. Box address. And if you use Cash App, and let me remove that little do squatchy there because you can't see past it. You can go to Cash App $A Sawyer C or paypal.me/ACE Sawyer 72. Anyway, we will be back on Tuesday night at 7 p.m.
That's right.
And we love you guys. We appreciate your tuning in to us.
Yes.
Thank you, Tony. He said this is great. She said this is great. I'm not sure if you're a female or a male, Tony, because I go by Tony as well. And Janie, I am so glad you came today to see us. You. So glad you came today. Leslie, she said we can't beat God-given.
Yeah, we will talk to you later, Miss Leslie. I want to know how your dad is doing and how you guys okay?
Vincent, you were there and you didn't say a word. See you Tuesday as well.
Okay.
See you Tuesday. See you, Dee Dee and George. We love you too, hon.
Thank you so much for tuning in to us. Don't throw the towel in yet. We still got some more to go with this, and I didn't get anywhere close to scratching, getting.
You didn't scratch the surface.
I didn't scratch the surface.
What you're trying to say?
Yeah, there's more to it. Okay.
You said you didn't get into scratching. I was thinking, what in the world?
I stopped. I cut off short right there. Don't worry about the scratching. See, she's trying to start something. You know that, Miss Keely. You see what you're doing, don't you?
He didn't scratch the surface, is what he's trying to say.
She's messing with me. Hey, look. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you something. Watch this.
You hit it so hard.
I want them to hear it.
They heard it. I'm sure they heard it. Teeny tiny. You didn't say a word while we were on here. You guys are there and didn't say anything. Vincent said you're DJ.
Wow.
Oh my God, you guys are funny. You guys, y'all hide and don't even let us know you're on here.
Well, thank you for letting us know at the last minute.
Yeah.
You guys are the gift of God, and there's none like you.
Yeah, we love you guys. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Remember this: the life that you gave 2021 years ago is the same life that you've always been. And if Christ himself would have refused to go to the cross and be raised, your Christ identity, the real you, would have took his place.
Because you are that same,
you are the same spirit
essence that he is.
Thank you.
Yes. Love you guys. See you later.